How old were you then?
18.
Tack, as his friends call him, is known as a resistor.
The resistors at Heart Mountain were a group of ultimately around 85 young men who in January of 1944 received their draft notices from Uncle Sam while incarcerated here at Heart Mountain.
Eric Muller is a law professor at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. He's an expert on the Japanese-American incarceration and has written extensively about the resistors.
The moment had come for them to draw a line and say, you've pushed us around this far and you're not going to push us any further. So if you treat us like citizens, we will act like citizens. But if you're going to continue to treat us effectively like enemy aliens, then we're not going to lay down our lives on a battlefield.
The group stand was that give us our freedom, give us our civil rights back, and release the families, and then we will all serve.
So, while his friends and classmates were fighting for freedom on foreign battlefields, Tack decided to fight for freedom in his own country.
The United States Attorney for the District of Wyoming got indictments against these young men, and U.S. Marshals came into the camps, came to barracks, and arrested them. Still to this day, the largest mass trial in Wyoming history.
This was a photo taken in the trial.
In it, you could look into the eyes of dozens of defiant young men, fearful, yet confident they're doing the right thing. Ironically, members of their families and community didn't agree. While young men were dying on the battlefield, resistors were being called cowards, sometimes by their own community. They were convicted, and after addressing them as "you Jap boys," the judge sentenced them to 3 years in prison. Tack found himself at a federal prison on McNeil Island near Seattle, Washington.
So I told the warden, I said, no, this is no different from the fact that I was in Heart Mountain, restricted, barbed wire fence and so forth.
In a way, it was just like moving from one jail to another jail, which I always thought was a very interesting, sort of poignant commentary on the lack of freedom of Japanese Americans during the war.